Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with the Illinois Firearms Association. If you're a gun owner in House District 48, these are suburbs like Carroll Stream, Bloomingdale, Itasca, Wooddale, Elk Grove Village, and others, take a moment to watch this brief video where we compare Representative Jennifer Sanalitro's record versus her challenger Maria Vesey when it comes to your right to keep and bear arms. Guys, everyone knows it's been a tough couple years here in Illinois in the fight for gun rights. J.B. Pritzker passed the nation's worst so-called assault weapons ban a couple of years ago. It's a fight that we're still waging today in federal court. It's going to be ongoing for quite some time. The reality, though, is that Pritzker is far from over, and his commie allies in Springfield are far from over. In fact, just last session this year, we stopped a number of horrific gun control bills that would make things much, much worse for gun owners here in Illinois. So it's critical that for gun owners, especially in swing districts, every 2 years that we show up at Election Day and send a message that Illinois still stands for freedom, for public safety, and for the Second Amendment. Now, in this video, I cannot tell you who to vote for. We're not going to do that. What we will do, though, is give you guys the detailed background you need on these candidates to make a more informed decision. In this case, we'll begin with the incumbent, Jennifer Sanalitro. Now, Jennifer has been there for just 2 years, and what that means is she missed the vote on the ban on assault weapons. Again, heavy sarcasm, heavy air quotes included. She wasn't there for that vote, so there's no need to consider that conversation. What she was there for was the vote on House Bill 218. This was Pritzker's bill to make it that much easier for gun manufacturers to be held civilly responsible if some thug dirtbag uses one of their guns to commit an act of violence. And so we're not going to hold the criminal responsible, but with HB 218, it's easier to go after the gun manufacturer to hold them responsible for the actions of somebody else. It's a terrible bill, and Jennifer was a no vote on that bill. In addition, she refused to co-sponsor any of Pritzker's gun control bills that his allies filed this session in Springfield. So again, she hasn't been there very long, but all of her actions so far have been pro-gun. And that's why she's being targeted by one of Pritzker's allies right now, because he wants more people in there who will support his radically insane agenda to disarm law-abiding gun owners here in Illinois. That's Jennifer. Now let's talk about Maria Vesey. Maria Vesey, she's the opponent. She is, if you forget everything else I said, don't forget this. She's endorsed by Michael Bloomberg's organization, Everytown for Gun Safety, and that means that she supports the entire gun control agenda that Pritzker and outside groups like Michael Bloomberg's organizations want to inflict on all of us in Illinois. What does that look like? Well, for starters, it's things like ammo registration. This bill was filed in the previous General Assembly. It's a House Bill 2293. And what this bill would require is that every round of ammo you buy would require a FOID card, and they would register each round back to you. So if you buy a box of 50 rounds, it's on your record. If you buy a case of 1,000 rounds, it's on your record. It's attached to your name. It is complete ammo registration like they have for firearms. If this sounds insane, it's because it is. But it's law right now in New York and California. And of course, Pritzker always likes to follow Gavin Newsom or Kathy Hochul to push his gun control. This bill was filed. It is a live round. It will be considered again next session, and Maria Vesey would support that bill. Number 2, mental health exams for gun owners. This bill, thank God, was not filed last session, but our insiders tell us it is definitely coming. This also is based on other legislation in other blue states like New York, and it would require that gun owners sit before a mental health professional, whatever that even means these days, probably a purple-haired crazy person themselves, and you would have to prove that you're mentally fit to buy a firearm. What does that even mean? If you confess, again, heavy sarcasm, if you confess to loving America, our founding fathers, the Second Amendment, does that make you crazy? In some people's minds it does. Now, understand, they're not going to make a 400-pound pervert who wants to dress up like a woman and read books to your 5-year-old child. They're not going to make that person go through a mental health exam. No, no, no. They're going to make law-abiding gun owners like you and me go through this. That is also a bill that Maria Vesey would support. Number 3, this is a big one. Social media background checks to get a FOID card. This bill was recently filed in Springfield as well. It's House Bill 888, and it would give the state police the authority to examine your social media accounts when determining whether or not you qualify for a FOID card. Now, it might not just be the original card. They may have the option to constantly examine your social media posts and potentially take back your FOID card if you post speech that is potentially hateful or dangerous. Now, what does that mean? If you post a meme that calls J.B. Pritzker a commie, is that hateful? If you claim in a social media post that Democratic policies have ruined Illinois and turned over our cities to open gang violence, does that make you a hateful person? If you object to our open borders policy, which has let 10 million people into our country, many of them here into Illinois, does that make you hateful? Probably. In the eyes of these people? Absolutely. And that's the kind of bill that Maria Vesey would support. Again, that bill number previously was House Bill 888. Last but not least is a new bill that was filed this year. I did not get the bill number written down, but it was filed this year, and it creates an entirely new permit to buy firearms in Illinois. So after you have your FOID card, this would be a new card required to buy a gun. And here's the details. This permit, it comes from your local municipal police chief. So if you're in the country, I guess you're okay. But for every person, every gun owner, or someone who wants to become a gun owner, in a city, you would have to apply with your police chief, not the sheriff who's elected, but the police chief who's appointed, and get permission to buy a gun. If he grants the permit, and they can be denied for literally any reason in the police chief's discretion, it's only good for 10 days. I mean, this is absolutely insulting. We have dangerous criminals, violent street gangs that are just ruining cities all across the state. And these commies continue to crank out bills that only make it harder for law-abiding citizens to keep and bear arms here in this state. This is all the agenda that Maria Vesey supports. So guys, if you're a voter in this area, it's very simple. Maria Vesey, supported by Michael Bloomberg, J.B. Pritzker, and she backs the entire crazy gun control agenda that they want to push upon all of us here in Illinois. And Jennifer Sanalitro has been a no vote on gun control, refused to co-sponsor all the gun control bills in the state. That's why she's being targeted. Guys, do not forget, the election is November 5. The early voting is already underway. This election counts more than many we've had in a very long time. The stakes could not be higher. Get out there, send a message, and vote for freedom on November 5. Take care, guys, and share this video on your social media accounts.